questions?
They did?
Yep.
All right. Okay. Oh, can you mute that one? Okay. And I'm not hearing myself. Fantastic. I think we saw a letter from your neighbor. So you've spoken with the adjacent property owner. They're
Yep.
supportive of this. They have no issue with the
No.
expansion of the existing structure.
No.
And what was the length of the existing structure and how much more are you adding to it roughly?
That's a hard question.
Sorry, Angie, can you pull up the application? I can probably do it, but
I think it's 13 feet
13 feet.
additional. If I read it right,
Yeah, I think it was.
going from 19 to 32.
I have 13 or 16 in my head, but I can't give you a
Right.
Was it
definitive.
going from 19 to 32?
Sounds
length?
right. Yes.
Right. So it's not like you're more than doubling the length of the structure that was there previously.
No.
I'm just trying to get context of
No.
scale.
No.
Okay. All right.
I had a question. The neighbors you checked with, was that the neighbor whose tree fell on it?
Yes. Yeah, he was actually going to come with me tonight,
Oh.
but he works for National Grid.
Oh,
And so he got popped for overtime, which I'm sure he's not upset about, but
oh, it's needed these days.
yeah.
Just a question and a comment, if I
Sure.
may.
Mhm.
I've no problem personally with the 2.5 foot. You got it. I'm curious as to why you didn't get a permit from code as in a building permit before you started the project?
That's a fabulous question that I honestly don't have an answer to. I don't know. I think because it was an existing thing, I didn't think that we needed it if we were just making it bigger.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
You are making it bigger.
Right. Well, now I know.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Any discussion?
Nope.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience tonight that would like to make a comment related to the project in front of us? I'm going to ask you to come forward and state your name and address if that's a formal comment. Well, we're going to keep that as an informal comment, unless you do want to come take the mic, that's fine. Anyone online that wants to make a comment related to this project? You received a public comment?
Yeah.
I didn't. Well, I saw the neighbor's letter. Is that what you're referring to? Yes, yes, I did see the neighbor's letter in support. Is there anyone on Zoom that's like chatted or anything? Just want to double check. Okay. All right. Does anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I move that the board approve the variance for PLZBA 2024-0027. Based on the following findings of fact, that the variance will not create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood. Again, it's as indicated, an already existing structure that's being expanded. The benefits sought by the applicant may not be achieved by some feasible method other than the proposed variance of that modest expansion. The requested variance is not substantial. The variance, if granted, will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. It already exists, again, a very minor expansion. And as indicated, the alleged difficulty is not self-created because the neighbor's tree fell on the structure during the last ice storm and is a part of the repair process. So for those reasons, I support approval and move to approve the variance.
I would second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Have a good evening and please get your building permits next time.
Thank you.
Did you ask her to state her form? Oh, get her permit.
Oh, she's the applicant, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Should I do that
No,
for
no,
applicants?
you.
Okay, all right. Please tell me if I screwed something up.
No, I misheard you. That's all.
Okay. Next, moving on to our next application, 2024-0030, 118 Sherman Avenue, single family home, neighborhood 1 and area variance.
Before we
Yeah.
go forward, I don't know if a statement on the seeker statement is needed for the PLZBA 2024-0027 for the record.
Seeker
the one
type
we
2,
just
do
did.
we need?
Yeah. I think you found that it was not a substantial change based on a repair to an existing structure.
It was type 2, correct.
Type 2, yeah. So
Right. Type 2, no action needed.
no action is needed.
Right. Just wanted to make sure it was on the record.
Appreciate that. All right, sorry, 118 Sherman Avenue, applicant is looking for a relief of 8 feet to the front setback and we're gonna round to half a foot for the side setback for a carport. You have the floor.
Correct.
So years and years ago, this is on an actual asphalt pad. So my mother-in-law plans on moving up there. She's over 80 years old. So in the width, in the midst of this, we decided to.
Sorry, you gotta hold it up.
We're not hearing you.
Okay. So in the midst of this, we decided to put a carport up because years ago, he did something with Boaard, the owner. He had like a big shed, glorified shed. So we built like a carport and we set it back beyond the house, not in front, but it's actually behind the house. You can't go, we couldn't go any farther back than there's a small shed where he had birds as well. And then he had the larger shed in the front. So what we did was we basically rebuilt it, but made it a carport. And not knowing that the setbacks had to be. Right. So in essence, we did build it behind the front of the house. And it is what it is, you know, that's what we actually did. And we did go and talk to code enforcement about a permit, but I didn't know that, you know, if there was something existing, that if it's larger or if it's been gone, you can't build something other than that. And you're thinking in your mind, well, it's a shed, it's a carport, you know, some sheds you can build and I don't think you need permits, but it was just something we did because she's 80 years old and I know the weather's bad here and, you know, just trying to clean the car off it can be a problem for somebody that age.
So this is also an existing, it's now existing
It's
structure?
now existing, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what prompted you to talk to code enforcement about it?
So I went there about a month and a half ago and said, hey, I may have a problem with this. From what I understand is, even if it was there 20 years ago, you know, and thinking like a shed, a carport, I didn't think it was a big idea. I didn't think I was doing anything negligent at the time. So I did tell him that I was going, because I did get a permit to do the house because the house was basically condemned. We got a permit to do the house and we redid the house. And so as the house, the next project was, okay, we got a house on Sherman Avenue. Parking is always a problem. Somebody has to be going up in Sherman Avenue now, up and down. You see, it's chaos, Sherman Avenue. So parking on the street is a problem. So I just added to the car pad and we put a glorified carport up.
Okay.
Sure.
I took a drive up there today. You're
Right.
right. Traffic is a nightmare.
Correct.
And I don't think it's going to get any better until they straighten Campbell Avenue out. Did a nice job with the house. It looks very nice.
Thank you.
I'm curious about the carport. Was that the original pad location where the shed was?
That's correct.
Or was the shed set back further?
No, so we had the shed, the smaller shed is still there. It's ancient, but we dressed it up. We put siding on it.
That's
So-
to the back left
That's
side of the
correct,
house. I'm
right,
talking
right.
about what you're calling the carport. Was that where? that
Yes,
other
yeah, there
shed
was one there. Yeah,
All right.
right. Yeah.
Now, the second part of the question is, I think of a carport as open-ended, open-sided, much like I
Right.
would think of a pavilion at a state
Correct.
park with picnic tables underneath.
Right, right.
Do you have any plans to put a garage door
No.
on that carport?
No,
Or will it remain open and call it what you're calling it, a carport?
yeah, I was just gonna leave it open because, you know, I did it because it was a last moment thing. My mother-in-law's got a 5-bedroom at 85 Sherman. She's selling her 5-bedroom. She's alone now. This is a 1-bedroom house.
Right.
So this is perfect for her. But at 80 years old, it's tough. She don't want to live with nobody. She's stubborn.
I got that.
No, I said, okay, let me make it as comfortable as I can for you. And we got to this point.
So it's just the one structure The one carport, you don't have like an old one and a new one?
No,
No.
the
Oh,
old
Angie,
one
Can you pull up the photo?
from years ago. And then, 20 years ago, there was an old structure there.
The
And
photo you sent around today?
the old original
Right.
Oh.
shed is still there, but it's a
Right.
lot smaller.
Does it show? up in front of
So
you?
he did, so he had two of them because he flew the birds around, whatever. And he had
Okay.
dogs. So he
Still.
kept a lot of his animals and his birds in these areas years ago. So that's why the car pad is there.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
what you're really looking for is a relief of 8 feet. It's got to
Correct.
be 30 feet back, you're 22 feet back, you're
Right.
8 foot short.
Right.
Got it.
Because it's an accessory structure. Yeah, it falls under
Yeah.
the guidelines as the accessory structure. So it's two things. And it's kind of at an angle to the property line. So at the front corner of the garage or the carport, as I understand it, meets the side setback requirement. It just kind of gets a little bit closer.
And we couldn't go back any farther because we had a smaller shed. Everything is tight there. Of course, we let the city of Troy dump back there.
Is that what the dump truck? is
Yeah,
doing?
a lot of that's coming from Campbell Air Project, and we allowed the city of Troy baseball, of Troy High, they're redoing their field, so we allowed them to use our land and put their fill in there too, because they had nowhere to go with it.
Okay.
So we allowed that as well.
Who owns the property adjacent to you?
Mr. Keto
Okay, have you spoken with your neighbor about this?
told me good luck today. He loved it. He loved the idea of everything we did there, because this was a house that was in violations all the time with the city. City used to get phone calls all the time. We put a lot of, now it's been over a year working on it, and we renovated the whole thing. And we turned it, obviously it's back, if we ever decided to sell it, it's gonna be on the tax map for a lot more money than, what it was,
The
$38,000.
house looks very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It does.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Is there anyone here that would like to make a comment regarding this project? Yes, you guys come up to the mic.
He's
Please,
actually a neighbor as well.
please introduce yourself, make a comment.
My name is Anthony Passanella. I live
You gotta
Two-
hold the mic up,
two
sorry.
houses down where all the construction's going on. My wife's lived on Sherman Ave her whole life. I've been there 45 years. The property he's talking about that he bought, was a mess. I mean, when I walked into the apartment with him, the apartment was vacant for probably, I don't know, 10 years. And taxes weren't paid on it. I mean, for what he did to the house, the house looks good now compared to, I guess I can't swear, but compared to what it used to look like. So, and I mean, for people to be complaining here, I mean, I thought we were all neighbors, and you got neighbors, calling in and complaining about the dust and stuff like that. You need a street cleaner up there, I think is ridiculous. I mean, you have 18 wheelers going up that, and the signs are as big as day. You're not supposed to drive a truck up Sherman Ave. And by the way, the road will be open Friday, Campbell's Ave.
Good.
So that's all.
All right.
He did a great job.
I mean, there's been a lot of traffic on Sherman Ave and either going down Donegal Ave or Industrial Road. So, and it takes me sometimes 10, 15 minutes just to back out of my driveway. So especially 7:30 in the morning when people are going to work. So that's all I got to say.
All right.
All right, thank you. Anyone else in the room?
I'm not sure it's even needed, but I'm the surveyor and he asked me to come. I didn't think I would be needed, but here's some extra copies. I don't see anybody has a copy of the map in front of them. If you want, if you
I
want to
try
see
and
it.
I try and save my paper, but thank
okay.
you.
All right, very good. So no, I don't have anything.
Is there anyone on Zoom that would like to make a comment regarding the project in front of us?
The only person that was there was Central Ave, and they didn't request to speak, but I sent in a message that it's snowing.
Okay,
Yes, in the text.
Okay, all right, no comments. Any
So-
discussion?
No,
Who owns the land to the left? Is that part of
That
the lot?
side? He said his neighbor. I'm sorry, I can't
Uh,
remember the name.
Keto lives to the left of me.
Yeah.
And he was very happy with it. Again, people that park on Sherman Avenue, it's a narrow street. So it's very, very narrow. And when you're parking on Sherman Avenue, it could become it becomes a problem for even cars going up and down.
Which is the left, Mike? That's
Uh,
is Keto that place?
That's, this is actually Sinclair Street. That's a city street. Although that's our.
It's
street.
not open, okay.
Right, it's not open. This neighbor's fine. Actually, probably had problems. I know people call the city on him because he has a box truck, which I also welcomed him to park on my land because the guy works hard every day, but we got neighbors that are just crazy. So this is the Keto's house right here. And I just spoke to him this morning. He said, good luck. Actually, these trees were hanging over his house and I paid to knock them down because he was nervous that they would fall over. And so we go along.
So do you own all the lot where it's
I own
plowed
this
up
lot.
and
Yeah,
everything?
Yeah, I own this lot. And as you could see, we couldn't go back. It's difficult to go back farther because then you're impeding on the shed. I would have to take that down as well. But he's a super guy and he wished me luck tonight. And he says, I don't, and we set it back beyond the front of the house, so it's not an eyesore.
So is there a vacant lot between you and your neighbor?
Right there, no.
No, okay, all
So,
right.
so,
Back
as
just
it
for a second.
turned out, Herman did the survey. He was actually 2 feet on my property. Told me to keep it. But I can't just give it to him. When we did the survey, he asked if I can get the surveyor to survey the neighbor's land, and you surveyed the neighbor's land for him as well. So we did that from each day.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Discussion?
No.
I mean, I think the side setback is just half a foot at one point. And as far as the front setback, it's just shy of what is required and it's still behind the house, which I think is a lot of the intent of that accessory use setback.
I agree.
Can I get a motion?
I would like to put the proper seeker statement on the record first.
Please and thank you.
Okay. Madam Chair, in regards to Appeal ZBA 2024-00. Oh,
We can let you finished and then
Right.
we can go back to that.
yeah, I am not doing the motion yet. In regard to PL ZBA 2024-0030, as supported by the staff reports, I ask that the board find this proposal to be a seeker type 2 action with sufficient information available upon which to make a determination that the project is not expected to cause a significant environmental impact.
Second, all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Wait, you're not
Oh,
done. That was
oh.
just seeker. Sorry.
Gotta see if
You're
there
gonna give me
are
a heart
comments on what they say.
Doesn't mean bad news. She's not done.
Public comment.
Angie, there was another public comment that was sent in regarding this. I did not receive it.
You wanna read it? You want me to read it?
Yes,
Since you don't
please.
have it? I have Mr. Coburn. I have the following questions, issues with the proposed variance application. This is 0030. It appears that the new structure in question was constructed without a building permit and after the property was conveyed to the current owner per chapter 141, article 1, section 141-4. The erection of any building must first obtain a building permit. I don't believe that this structure was constructed in accordance with the residential code of New York State And if a building permit was received, the deficiencies would have been caught. I don't believe that this structure would have required a licensed professional's oversight. However, it would have helped. And another comment is, per the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, this structure would be classified as a carport due to the fact that it is not open. Excuse me, I misread. That this structure would not be classified as a carport due to the fact that it is not open on 2 or more sides. This garage is fully enclosed except for the opening for a garage door. Please consider these comments in this matter. Regards, Chris Keto. Were you all able to hear me? I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes. In relation to one comment that was received, it's my understanding that whether it's a garage or a carport, it would still fall under an accessory structure. So from our perspective, it doesn't matter what we call it.
That's my understanding too.
Okay. We've already addressed, you went forward without a building permit. Have you had code come through and do an inspection and?
Yeah, they have been up there.
Okay,
Actually, they came by yesterday. They came by yesterday. Billy French came by and Carlos Soriano.
okay. So you'll, if they have any comments or
Oh,
any
absolutely,
deficiencies,
yeah.
you'll rectify those
Absolutely, sure.
a little bit beyond our, you can ask code to do stuff, but we can't.
Put in the
anything?
approval, that the approval is contingent upon code's approval and no garage door.
I mean, the variance for the structure, I mean, it's the placement of the structure. So either we say it's okay in its place or we don't. I mean, if we don't say yes to the variance, then basically it's got to come down and be building permit needs to be applied is the process. Can we make it contingent on code approving? I mean, code's got to approve either way.
Code is already aware of the structure.
Yeah.
I have not heard whether or not a post construction building permit is being required or not. Have you spoken with them about that?
Yeah, briefly. I said if I need to pull a permit, actually, I did. I said if I need to pull a permit, I'll be happy to come by. And they said, okay, let's see how the meeting goes. And
Because you can't pull a building permit until you've gotten the
Correct,
variances from
right,
us. So they'll
right.
go
Right.
through the building
yeah,
permit
and then I'll go grab it.
process.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Take it to a vote.
Any other
So
questions?
we need a
Discussion?
motion.
Okay.
Is there-
Motion.
I'll move.
Evie, you're doing the hard work tonight. Thank you.
But you're very good at it.
I move that the board approve the variance for PLZBA 2024-0030. Based on the following findings of fact, the variance will not create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to nearby properties if granted, since it's consistent with other structures in that vicinity. The benefit sought by the applicant may not be achieved by some feasible method other than the proposed variance, since it's a very modest accessory structure. The requested variance is not substantial. Again, it's a very modest accessory structure. The variance, if granted, will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. Actually, based on the discussions, it will have a very positive effect. And the alleged difficulty is not self-created based on the traffic situation of that street. Based on all those factors, I move to approve this variance.
Second the motion.
I'll just add that was also in the location where a previous carport and foundation and everything else were, to what you stated.
And that code enforcement is involved in the process and has been made aware and is reviewing the process.
Okay, want to do that again? Second?
I would second it as amended.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Am I getting too informal for you, right? All right, so we do not have 0033. All right, so we're moving on to old business. We have 2024 0017 813 First Avenue. This is area variances. A relief of 368 square feet. Oh no, relief of 352 square feet for the ground floor. The relief of 18.4 feet from the adjacent structure because you're along the Hudson River. And the relief of 5 feet for the minimum front side setback.
Hi, my name is Neil. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm Neil Pallone. I'm an architect working with the owner at 813 First Ave. We've been here before. It's a new construction project, 2-family house. We have a couple of overlapping zoning requirements, including just the basic neighborhood 2-family district requirement, the waterfront setback requirement, the view corridor requirement, and floodplain elevation concerns. Last time we filed for an application, we omitted the ground floor request, variance request, which was the first one on the list, meaning we can comply to that. So
You're going to have to speak up, sir.
the it looked like on the agenda, there were 3 variance requests. The first
Yes.
being the ground floor. We do not need that one. We withdrew that one.
The last time, they didn't make any motion.
Okay. We changed the design and refiled so that it is 722 square feet now.
So you no longer need that variance.
Correct.
Okay, off the table. We will.
Great. Last time we were here, it seemed like the biggest challenge was the view corridor, the amount of the view corridor variance request. Last time we were here, it was 5 foot something. For this new design, we moved the building as far north as possible, which basically doubled the distance to 11'8" to the next building. So the requirement is to have 30 feet. Last time we were here, we provided 5 and change. Now we're here asking for 10 and change feet. But what this does is we need a variance for the front side setback because we moved the building into that setback all the way to the property line. Did you follow that?
I think.
I can point if that helps, maybe.
Yeah, which,
If, go all the way to the last page. So the last page has,
Last page of
last page.
last page.
Oh, maybe that works. Maybe not the last page, sorry. Try this one. There's a lot going on here. But if you can see, this is the property line
On the north side.
on the north side. North is up. Thank you. This pink boundary is the building proposed footprint. And where we have it now, based on last time we were here, this 10-foot distance to the property line was 5 feet.
So you now have made the old 5, 10.
Correct. So we've moved the building as far as we could
Okay.
north, but the problem with that is it needs a front side setback variance that we did not need before. But it
there's-
seemed like that was more important in the consideration of the project last time we were here. So that's
There's
what we
no
did.
building that's adjacent to you on the north side.
Correct. We are a corner lot. That's what the front side
it.
setback, that's where that comes in. So right to the north is the boat launch.
Yep.
And then the park on the other side there. So that's why we now have two variance requests. One is to go from the 30-foot to the neighboring building. And again, I just want to point out, they're only a foot from their property line. So we're going to be 10 feet from that building, which leaves about 11 foot and change. But now we're 0 up north when
Okay.
5 is required. So
Yeah. Understanding you're now asking for 2 variances as opposed to 1, but it's less of a variance on the one you were asking, but you did what we asked.
thank you. So that's, yeah, we're trying to balance all these things. And
What is the hatched pink area towards the river?
this side is a balcony. So it's an overhang. So what we did design wise is we attempted to line up the main volumes with the existing building. That's basically with the existing building to the south, so that the bulk will be in line. They do have a variety of things sticking off the back of their building, like there's porches up front, and there's some porches and shed stuff in the back. But we're lining up the main building, so we'll have a balcony as well.
Okay.
There's no setback issue. There's a waterfront setback on that side.
But that you received that variance last year.
Correct.
Yeah.
So all those other pages ahead of this was us stacking up all the different requirements, trying to find a way to balance the project as best as possible.
Is the property line to the north directly on the city right away?
Yes, that property line would be between the property and the city right of way. There's no,
Between the property, or is it the city right away? I mean, is there any buffer city land that's not right away to the north of that building?
Not that I saw, but I'm not a land use person. I mean, we deal with tax maps and everything else. That's
my understanding is that there is a significant buffer between the city with it of like grass and pavement
That's
to
what
the
I'm-
city
that's what I'm
right of
wondering.
way.
That's what I'm wondering.
So if the city wanted to come in and put in a sidewalk, there's more than enough right of way for the city to do
Okay.
that.
yeah, there's an
a
abnormal
buffer.
amount of distance to the curb, if
What
that's
is the
what you're
distance?
asking.
What is the distance to the curb from your property line?
Can you get them up?
I'm concerned with rights of way.
Oh, we asked the question last time of like, wait, can the city still put in a sidewalk? Get it when we asked for the reduction in the front side setback.
So by our measurements, takes us with a grain of salt, about 14 feet
Okay,
from our property line to where we're proposing to put the building now
to the pavement.
to the pavement. Yeah.
Any other questions?
I'm good.
No?
Any public comment? Anyone in the room? Anyone online that would like to make a comment related to this project? Angie, did we receive any written comments related to the project? No comments? Okay. Any discussion?
No discussion. When the time is right, I'd like to make the environmental statement, but not the motion. I'll defer to you on that one.
You're gonna have to give me, I forgot my cheat sheet. I'll do this one. Uh-huh. All right. Want to do your seeker thing?
Shall I make the statement?
Yes, please.
Okay, Madam Chair, in regards to PLZBA 2024-0017, as supported by the staff reports, I ask that the board find this proposal to be a type 2 seeker action with sufficient information available upon which to make a determination that the project is not expected to cause significant environmental impact.
Do we need to make a motion or just make the statement?
I think you need to make a resolution, make a motion.
Motion second. I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, pass seeker. Okay, I will make a motion to approve the two variances in front of us, which is the relief of 18.4 feet for the distance between buildings along the since you're along the Hudson River, and to grant the relief of 5 feet for your front side setback variance. And I believe this variance will not create an undesirable change to the neighborhood in keeping with the neighborhood and nearby properties. That it will, it cannot be achieved by other feasible method by then granting these two variances together to make sure we have that line of sight to the Hudson River. And that this is not a substantial distance. And there's certainly significant right of way for the city to be able to make any improvements to that roadway that they need to. And that will not have an adverse effect on the physical or environmental changes in the neighborhood. And that the difficulty is not self-created given the constraints of the property and what needs to be built. Second,
I would second that motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and I wish you the very best of luck with it. Good job.
Finally.
Aye,
got it.
aye, I said it, but I will say it more loudly. Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. I will-
Seconded.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Have a good evening, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you for lending me your cheat
Oh,
sheet.
you're welcome. I have extras every time.
I have it. I just gotta find which stack it's in.
Have a good